All right, you guys, one of the other constructed response is, I'm going to quit out of this really quick, is a system of equations word problem. So I wanted to go back through how you would solve that. Two classmates have decided to read all the volumes in a popular series of books. Zoe has already read 10 volumes and will continue to read new ones at a rate of 2 volumes per week. Susan, who hasn't started reading the series yet, will read 4 volumes per week. At some point, Susan will catch up with Zoe and they will be reading the same book. How long will that take? So Susan and Zoe both have their own equation, and we're going to put that in the y equals. Okay? It says Zoe has already read 10 volumes, so I'm going to put that in. That's my starting point. She's already read 10. Plus, she's going to read 2 volumes more per week, and x is my weeks. Okay, y would be my total books. That's Zoe. Let's arrow down, let's do Susan. And I'm typing this into the calculator here. Susan, who hasn't started reading the series yet, so she has read 0 books plus, but she's reading them faster. She's reading 4 books per week, right? So 4 per week. So there's my 2 equations. You don't have to have that 0 there if you don't want to, but my writing on the computer I didn't want to do because it's not very good, so I just typed it in so you could see it. Now, we want to graph these, and to solve a system of equations, you need to find where they intersect. Now remember, we can do it one way where we use the matrix, but this one's set up to use, to graph it and do it. So let's go ahead and graph this. And I always like to start with zoom 6, which is just your basic 10 by 10. The y goes up to 10, the x goes up to 10, the y goes down to 10, the x goes down to -10 on the left-hand side. But we can't see where they cross, and we have to see where they cross in order to use the calculator to solve it. So obviously they're going to cross somewhere farther up on the y-axis that we can't see. So let's go to Window, and instead of our y-axis being 10, let's make that, I'm not sure where they're going to cross, but let's make it 30 instead. And then let's hit graph again and see what happens. Okay, so you can see we have a lot more y. Okay, I can totally see where they cross now, and that's going to give me my answer. You could trace up and down and see how close you could get. Oh, where's my little spider? Oh, there's my little spider. So you could trace and see how close you could get to where they cross or their intersection point. But you can see down here we have a lot of decimals. So to get around that, and this is also on a poster, we're going to do second calc, which is up here. Second calc. And I hope you guys realize which one I'm going to choose from this menu. The intersection point. I want to know where the intersection point is. Whoops. Oh no. Uh-oh. Ha. Sorry guys. So I'm going to hit enter. And then you want to keep, I'm going to circle my mouse around where it says first curve. You want to keep hitting enter until it says intersection. Cool. So intersection is x equals 5 and y equals 20. That's where those 2 lines cross. But what does that mean in the context of the problem? What does that mean in the real world situation? That means that after 5 weeks, they have both read 20 books. And after that, depending on how many books are in this series, I don't think I've ever read 20 books for a series. Depending on how many books are in this series, Susan is going to always be ahead. You can see her line gets taller there. So if it asks you for an explanation on the test of how you got this, just explain that you graphed them and found their point of intersection. And remember, it will force you to explain what the x means and what the y means. And the x is, of course, after 5 weeks, they will both have read 20 books is the y.